Tide's coming in, and so we just brought in everything that we caught today. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take it back and we're going to grade it, sort it by size, and then we'll bring it back out and then we'll place it in the right compartments it needs to be. Like this one and that one are two different sizes. So we want to put all these guys together so they can be with their likes, like this one. And then we're going to put all these little ones together because they'll grow at a different time and be ready. You see the two different sizes? We have a trademark name, and we sell puffer petites. And puffer petites are just a little under 3 inches. They're like 2 3/4.
Couple of growers right here and a couple of growers. See where those other boats are? Those are some more shellfish farms. And then right across by the breakwater there are some other shellfish farms on that side. Okay. But they all have access by truck. They can, Wellfleet still allows shell fishermen to drive on the beach. So it's kind of interesting at low tide because you'll see a truck where the boat is. You know, you'll see the trucks out there because they're out on the flats.
Mainly, we do a rack and bag system. All the racks you see right now pretty much have our seed on it. 90% of our seed comes from Hatseed. I don't know if most of you are familiar with the process of collecting oysters on hats. A lot of what we do, once it gets big enough to a certain size, we throw it on the bottom and let it grow out and then rake it back up. We have these, they're plastic discs and they come on a stick and there's 42 of them. And we dip them in a mixture of lime, sand, and cement. And then we stick them out here in July, and then by August it looks like pepper is thrown on them. It's like little itty bitty specks. So we get the seeds from the hat, we overwinter them. Either we take the shellfish in grow bags and put the seed in it and staple them to the bottom to prevent them from ice, or we put them in a walk-in or a pit, take them out, bag them up, put them on the racks as you see here, let them grow, and then you go through them, then you take the different sizes. Some of them might be ready to sell, so you sell those. The others either you plant on the bottom or put back in a bag, and then rake them up and go through them again until the crop's gone. And then at the same time that you have the older crop that you're still going through, a new crop will come through.
This would be a little oyster spat here. So this farmer out here has these cement structures, and he catches all these. So, and then scrapes them off and puts them in a bag and grows them, so he doesn't buy seed. What you try to do is to knock them off. We have these little chisels and we knock them off. For about 40 years I've had a non-commercial shellfishing license in Wellfleet. We only have one species of oyster in New England, but the abundance and the distribution of oysters has changed in the harbor. Historically, Wellfleet our harbor was loaded with oysters, either because of overharvest and or some kind of disease. There were very few oysters in Wellfleet Harbor.
Last year, I saw something. I've been doing this for 40 plus years, and I saw something in the harbor, in the water column, I never saw in my life before.
Which was?
These puff balls of algae coming through like balloons. They look like balloons.
It's from Japan also. It begins with a J. It came in here.
Oh, they could be big.
They're kind of pretty. They come in, but then they build up, and it smells really bad. And a lot of coastal communities have been having problems with it.
It actually suffocates. If you have something on the bottom, and we had just dumped probably, oh God, I would say 10 to 50,000 oysters in an area that need to get out of bags. We thought, okay, we'll put them on the bottom, and this will be a nice little area. That stuff came right in on top of it and suffocated 90% of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's farming,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that happens.
The other weed can build up, and the oysters still feed and everything, but this smothers and kills everything underneath it.
And it's kind of, you can't grab it. It's kind of like, it's almost like a jellyfish, you know?
Yeah.
It goes through your hands. You can't grab the mass of it, but yet it lays down like a mat, you know?
It's definitely a challenge.
But other places in the harbor, they're coming up with all of a sudden this, the shells aren't calcifying, so they're really brittle. And this is like a freak phenomenon.
You know, if there's a lot of nitrogen, if the town's putting out a lot of nitrogen in the harbor, it's obviously going to stimulate this. So that's why it's so important to try to control that the best we can.
Now they got a new one. Well, it's JOD, which is juvenile oyster disease, and it's wiping out Long Island, New York as we speak. Now they renamed it, it's called ROD, and it's an offspring of this same kind of virus that's wiping these oysters out in a small hatchery stage, you know? And if we bring that into our harbor, we're going to be starting all over again from ground zero. You know, I'll be honest with you, I always thought clams were bulletproof, and then one day, you know, we got something foreign in the water, and it really is a struggle to keep growing them. We're at the point, we're right on that line whether it's worth it or not, you know? And I think a lot of people have given up. They really have. But this new stuff, and Jake knows what it is, I just saw it last year, and I'm telling you, I'm terrified of it. I don't know if it's coming back next year. I mean, to me, that's going to be the worst thing of anything that we've ever faced. That to me personally, my biggest fear, and I'm trying to pass this down to Jake, is that we don't need to bring anything more in this harbor. You know what I mean? That's the life of, I mean, it's not always like,
not
oh
to
my
be,
God, you know?
Yeah, we don't want to be too doom and gloom, and we definitely have a good...
We keep trying, we get up every day, you know? We're out here 7 days a
we do
week.
have a good thing going on. Yeah, it's been good in a lot of ways.
But I made sure Jake had a good education before he signed on. You know, like a plan B, you know what I mean?
Oh, definitely, yeah. You never know what's gonna happen in oyster die-offs, and you know, you see what happened with the clams. If that happened with the oysters, we'd definitely be having a tough time. But you know, you just try to keep the water as clean as you can and hope for the best. It's a really sustainable process, and we think it's really cool not having to rely on a hatchery as much. You know, with the changing conditions in the water, you know, we hope we can continue that, but there's definitely, you know, problems if the ocean becomes more acidic that we could face.
In order to be a successful oyster farmer, you really have to know what you're doing.
I never worked a day in my life. I never call this work. And I hope Jake feels that way too.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
No, I do. No, I love it.
You know, I've been doing this for all my life, and he has my respect. You know, I might not agree with everything he says, but I respect him, you know, and he's earned that.
Seven days a week.
And
Why
the,
do you
Sometimes
tell
twice a day.
and the only day we really take off is Christmas. And if we have a morning Thanksgiving tide, we might sneak out, but Christmas and Thanksgiving. My wife says, like it would be my birthday, and she goes, "Where are you going?" And I'm going on the tide. She goes, "But it's your birthday." I go, "I'm even better."